a lot of producers are now sampling recent songs, R&B songs, pop songs, rap songs. Some producer flipped that Ayaz record for a Lil TJ song. A bunch of producers were flipping Little John beats to make hits for Saweetie and Megan Thee Stallion, I think. And wouldn't it be great if you as a producer made a beat today that 10 years from now got sampled? Especially if that song is a hit, not only would you be getting paid a lot for it, but you would also basically be giving that beat a second life. But there are some interesting legal issues with sampling another producer's beat that maybe some producers don't realize. And I wanted to bring it up, especially in regards to this sample lawsuit that Plies filed against both Soulja Boy and Megan Thee Stallion, and I think Glorilla was involved. So basically it was rappers suing other rappers over beats. Interesting. No mention of producers, right? Why is that? Well, I'll explain. Appreciate you tuning in. Thank you for watching all the podcast episodes. Appreciate you checking out the new channel. The link to the new podcast channel is below. All right, let's talk about it. One rapper that I haven't worked with that I would like to work with. Can you guess who it is, Dame?
One rapper that you'd like to work with?
That I want to work with, but I haven't yet.
Well, I'm assuming it's a lot of them, but
no, this one is a special one. This is the top of the short list.
I don't know.
Plies. Now, Plies had a.
Plies is hilarious.
I love Plies, and I mean purely from a musical standpoint. When I heard what was the name of the song? Somebody Loves You. When I heard Somebody Loves You come out way back, and it was a slept on track, and he coupled it with some sort of advocacy effort to help the children of incarcerated parents. I was like, oh man, I've been misjudging Plies this whole time because I only heard a couple songs and then I became a Plies fan. But anyway, Plies just dropped a lawsuit. Did you hear about this? Have you heard the first of all, Dame, have you heard the Megan Thee Stallion and Glorilla song called Wannabe?
Nah, I remember hearing that there was because I follow Plies. Because Plies is hilarious.
Yeah.
I think he's a great balance of like intellect, ratchetness. He's kind of a medley. So
he was an early adopter of being a content creator as a recording artist too.
Yeah, Plies is hilarious. This is random, but he recently he was somewhere and he was showing his receipt and it said like one egg. He added an egg to his Caesar salad or something like that. And like the one egg was like $30. I don't know where he was to get a $30 egg, but just the way he presents content is hilarious. And it's hilarious, obviously, to a lot of people because his Instagram, has grown tremendously over the past few years. A lot of people have become a fan of Plies that they've never probably even heard his music. I can't tell you I'm sure I've heard some Plies music, but I can't name one song right now from Plies.
You haven't heard Shorty with T-Pain?
No, I'm sure I've heard it. Well, yeah. So now, but I like off top, if I was on a game show and they were like, name a Plies song, I would have been stuck. I'd have been kicked off.
No, that's a great song, but Plenty Money is probably because wait a minute. His verse on Lose My Mind, on Jeezy Lose My Mind.
Yeah, I don't know. The Shorty one is even though I'm not your name,
so,
you my show. Yeah.
But T-Pain, that was his debut, like pop record, and everyone, it was honestly that's one of T-Pain's best hooks in my opinion. Drummer Boy produced it.
That song is a banger, but it's so good that I didn't even remember that's Plies on the song.
That's the problem. That's the problem with the T-Pain and Akon era. Because they were killing the hook so hard that you forgot, like how many people remember Two Pistols, but they know the song that T-Pain was on. So it's that kind of thing. But listen to Somebody Loves You, listen to Plenty Money, re-listen to Lose My Mind, the Plies verse. I interviewed Fat Boy. He talked about how the Plies verse just completely changed the Gucci Mane record that he produced. Wasted. Plies was on Wasted. Plies was on a lot of these classics, and we don't even give him that credit. And he always has the standout verse.
And he was just on the Millennium Tour, I think. I saw some highlights of him on because he brought out Keith Sweat at and that clip went viral for some reason.
I didn't see that, but I know Plies and Kirk Franklin look crazy. It's similar. Like, I don't know if they've ever been in the same room at the same time. That being said, though, Plies, when I first heard the Wannabe record, I was like, oh, they sampled or replayed that Soulja Boy record, Pretty Boy Swag. And I knew the management of G5 Kid, who was the producer who produced Pretty Boy Swag, a huge hit. And I really thought that was a interpolation of that beat. And I guess it wasn't. And then Plies has a song to a similar sounding track. So he essentially tried to sue Megan Thee Stallion for interpolating the beat and not clearing the interpolation. Because even if you replay a beat and it's not a direct sample, you still have to clear it on the underlying composition side. Now, I found a bunch of interesting things about this. I think one thing that's interesting, legally speaking, is that if I make a beat for a major label rapper, right, and they turn it into a song, the rapper's label owns the mastering, the master recording copyright, the sound recording copyright. That's the trade-off. I still retain my percentage of the underlying composition copyright, but labels are in the business of owning and exploiting masters. Let's say someone wants to use just the beat or sample just the beat or replay and interpolate just the beat. They have to clear the whole song. They don't just clear the beat. So it's not just a matter of them talking to me. They have to talk to everybody involved in the song because that's the new work that they sampled. Like, the beat doesn't exist anymore. It only exists in context of the overall song. And I think most people in the industry know this, but I think it's interesting still. It means that the rapper or the label could kill that whole deal, even if I want to make it happen. Like, someone wants to make a new version of, what's a beat that I made that didn't sample, like the Pooh Shiesty record. Someone wants to flip it and turn it to an R&B version, and they just want to take my melody. Well, they would have to go through the two co-producers, who I'm sure would say yes, but they would have to go through G Herbo, who was the feature, Pooh Shiesty, who's the primary artist, and the label, and everybody else involved. If a single person said, no, we don't want that song sampled, whatever clearance fee we're getting, all that goes out the window. Like, that deal is dead. And that part kind of seems unfair, but again, I'm biased because I'm a producer and I would love to have that happen. And I'm sure I'd change my mind if, say, like, one of these MAGA rappers wanted to sample it and the label's like, yeah, we need to give it to the guy that says the N-word with the hard R in his songs. And I'm like, nah, I don't want it. I don't care how much money it is. No, kill that deal. So that would be me being a hypocrite. But I think it's just an interesting situation because I really, like, my ears got tricked. I went back to the Megan Thee Stallion track because I thought, okay, at very least, Soulja Boy's doing this social media thing with Plies where, you know how Soulja Boy is. He just crashes out on Twitter or whatever he uses. So he's crashing out, calling Plies every name in the book because he was like, this has nothing to do with the Pretty Boy Swag song. And, Soulja Boy gets his money because I think he go after Ariana Grande for that same song because she used his cadence. Yeah, look that up. Soulja Boy himself has been involved in similar lawsuits. But when I looked up the credits on Wannabe, I fully expected to see Joshua Murphy as a co-writer. Joshua Murphy is the legal name of G5 Kid, who's the producer of Pretty Boy Swag, but he wasn't there. So I guess there was no sample clearance whatsoever, no interpolation whatsoever involved in that track. So it's interesting how, we've covered a lot of lawsuits about similarities of interpolation, of inspiration, and sometimes these lawsuits don't go anywhere. But in conclusion, for this particular story, Plies dismissed the lawsuit without prejudice, which apparently means, correct me if I'm wrong, lawyers in the comments, which apparently means he can potentially, if he changes his mind, reopen the lawsuit. I think that's what that means.
He couldn't or can't? Are you saying
he can. If he wants to, he can still open it up again.
Oh, I thought the opposite. So we do need a lawyer for that one.
Without prejudice.
Yeah,
This is what Vibe says. Legal documentation states that Plies dropped the case without prejudice, which signifies he could opt to refile his suit if he changes his mind. Plies and originally sued the 4 artists in November 2024, claiming they all illegally used what the rapper described as the infrared countdown beat. Much like now, Soulja Boy was the only artist listed in the lawsuit that responded. Oh, so that's why Soulja Boy was pissed, because he also sued Soulja Boy. Oh, this is interesting. Pretty Boy Swag is not your beat, Soulja Boy asserted in a video in November 2024. So you want to wait 10 years to try to... Okay, now he's just cussing. Never mind. I'm not going to read that. The beat is all original music. You can only sue somebody if they sample your song and don't get it cleared. This is not a sample, bro. The songs don't sound nothing alike. I think they sound something alike. I thought you was gangster. I thought you was... You're going to go snitch to the white man?
What?
I'm just reading Soulja Boy's... the transcript of what Soulja Boy was saying to Plies. Yeah, he always takes things too far.
Yeah, Soulja doesn't always have it together.
No. But anyway, if Plies is watching this, send me a DM so we can make this collab happen.